Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these beautiful little desserts. They're Filo pastry and made into little parcels with rhubarb and custard in them, and they really are so nice. I hope you like the video. If you do, please do give it a thumbs up. YouTube love interaction and it lets other people know about the channel. Now, I was struggling to find a name for these, so if you have any comments on what they could be called, feel free to put something up. But I've decided to call them Rhubarb and Custard Filo Pastry Parcels. Subscribe if you haven't done so already and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that come out. So enjoy. So if you find when you're cutting down and you've got this flat piece on your board, sometimes it can be a little bit tough. It kind of catches here. So a way around that is just to turn it on its side, and then it'll be much easier, or turn it upside down and do it that way. And another tip is to have a tea towel underneath your board, and this stops it from moving. You can either cook this in a pot or a frying pan. Right, I've used 500 grams of rhubarb, so I've added 100 grams of sugar. So the general rule of thumb, for every 100 grams of rhubarb you use, you want 20 grams of sugar. At the very beginning, there's no juice in this. Keep an eye on it and stir it so it doesn't burn. So as you can see, even after a few minutes, there's juice at the bottom of this. So when it gets to that stage, you don't have to keep stirring it all the time. You can just stir it occasionally. After about 10 minutes, you can see that there's a lot more juice and some of it is starting to break down. Right, so as you can see now, after 15 minutes, it kind of goes all mushy. So now we're going to pour this into a sieve, and you'll be able to see that underneath you've got all that lovely juice. And so you just let that trickle for a while, and you can kind of help it by just kind of squashing. It looks a bit weird, but you know, there's a nice thing I do with the juice at the end, which I'll show you. And you can see the lovely juice that we've got from that. As I said, you can just drink that. It's absolutely lovely to drink. So I'm just going to put this into a bowl and let this cool. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take one layer off, and then we're going to get our melted butter, and you're just going to spread some of this butter on the pastry. You don't have to put loads, just a little bit. So just hold your hand on it, because otherwise it will kind of move from the worktop. So just hold it with one hand and spread the butter with the other hand. This just helps the Filo pastry stick together, because you're going to have 3 layers on top of each other. So we're going to get a second layer, just put this on the top, and see already that's just sticking together nicely. Holding it with one hand, you do the whole process again. And then we'll get the third layer. It's great being able to just buy this ready-made. It's so much easier. Filo pastry is one of those things, it's just easier to just buy it rather than make it. It's very time consuming otherwise. So that's 3. You don't have to put butter on the top one. You can get a napkin, or you can even get a bit of cardboard from a cereal box and just cut a square of 7 by 7 centimetres. That gives you a good size to work with. This gives an indication. You can guess it, of course. You don't have to be very accurate or anything. So I'm just going to cut out a square. Now we're going to use some muffin tins. You can use ordinary cake tins, but muffin tins are better because they're deeper. I'm just going to put your square over it. So try and make sure that the middle of the square is over your circle. And gently with the knuckles, push in. You can do it with your fingertips, but just make sure not to put a hole in it. So you've got all this excess pastry here. And what you're going to do is put your filling in there, and then we'll seal this afterwards. I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, so basically what you're going to do is, once the rhubarb is cooled, we're going to then put it in these little pockets of pastry that we've just done. So what we want to do is just get some ready-made custard. Keep this as simple as possible. Of course you can make your own, but I've just got a carton of ready-made custard. And so you want to maybe fill it about halfway, and then you want to get a bit of your rhubarb compote. Place that on the top. This custard is cold, by the way. I never heated it up. And then what you want to do is just get your pastry brush and just do the edges of the pastry. And then you simply just gather the pastry up. You just kind of screw it all up into little bits. Now, if you think that's too much, you can always cut some of the excess pastry off. But I think that'll be fine. And you just kind of squash it together, and the melted butter will help that pastry stick together. And so that's what you do with each one of them into these little spaces. Okay, so now we just need to put these in the oven on 180 degrees and cook them for about 15 minutes. And I'll show you when they come out what they look like. And in the meantime, we're going to use that juice and cook that for a bit longer, and I'll show you what that turns out like too. And we're just going to let this cook for 10-15 minutes. Now at the moment it's quite runny, and you'll see that it'll get thicker. After the 15 minutes, this has changed colour, it's got darker, and just as it gets to this stage, you get a lot more bubbles. So, don't these look beautiful? They've got a nice crispy bit on the top, and you simply just lift it out. It doesn't stick to the muffin tin. Literally just pick it out, and you get these beautiful little parcels. See how nice they look. So again, we'll just simply lift it out, and we'll bring it over. Don't they look beautiful? And they don't have to be all the same. They're individual little parcels. Just dished up a little bit of ice cream to go with this, because that would go lovely. Then you can put a little bit of this lovely syrupy rhubarb. Right, so now for to get tucked in to see what this looks like on the inside. So I'm just going to cut it in half. You've got your custard and your rhubarb and the Filo pastry. And all I can say is just try it. Don't they look really cute for a dinner party? So you can either just pick it up with your hand and eat it, or you can have a spoon. But I'm just going to pick it up and eat it because it's the best way. And I'm just going to try it with a bit of this syrup. It's really nice. So custard, rhubarb, pastry and syrup. Look at that. Oh, that syrup is so nice, rhubarb syrup. You could even do that, put it on some ice cream. Really nice. Have fun making yours.